Trump in the USA.
So one of my favorite parts of Trump's July 3rd, July 4th speech was when he talked about the fact that so much of what's happening in our country, so much of the violence, so much of the anti-American hatred begins in our educational system. And this is beyond a doubt the truth. I mean, these kids are being taught day after day after day that America is not the engine of freedom, which it has been. There's not a person walking the earth who has political freedom who does not owe part of that political freedom to American blood and treasure. That is what we are. We are the engine of freedom around the world, not just here, greater and greater freedoms here, but greater freedom around the world. But instead, our kids are being taught that this is the engine of racism, as if racism existed nowhere else, as if slavery didn't exist everywhere else, as if we weren't the only nation ever to eradicate slavery in the first 100 years of our existence. And if you don't believe him, all you have to do is take a look at this TikTok video of two of the most ignorant children who have ever lived singing their little anti-American ditty.
I'm ashamed to be an American where not all folks are free. And I won't forget the enslaved who died and built this place for free. So I proudly lift up all the folks who are still oppressed today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt this ain't our land. Trump in the USA.
So it's one thing to be shallow, but it's another thing when you're so shallow that you could drown in your shallowness. That's how deep your shallowness is. And this is the problem with these two girls who look to me like two of the best cared for girls I've ever seen. I mean, these girls are not starving. They're not hungry. They're not oppressed. They're on TikTok singing their little song about how much they hate this country that has given them everything they have and will continue to protect them and even protects their right to curse at their country. When in other countries, you curse at your country, you disappear. There are still lots of countries on the earth where if you say things that the people in power don't like, you vanish. But here you can tell America that we hate you because America is such a great country. It can basically contain your hatred. Now, the thing that gets me about this is these girls have been taught those things. They've been taught to hate America. You don't just grow up hating your country any more than you grow up hating your mother. They were taught to hate this country, but they weren't taught anything else. And I would bet almost everything I have that if you stuck a microphone in their faces and said, what do you mean? Who's oppressed? How are they oppressed? What's the oppression? How does that compare to other countries? Where do you think that comes from? Where do you think that the idea, where does your idea of freedom come from? Where does your idea of oppression come from? Where does the idea that bigotry is wrong come from? Where do you think that came from? Do you think that came from Africa? Did you think it came from Asia? Where do you think it came from? The idea that it is wrong to hate another man for the color of his skin, because through most of human history, that was the norm. That was the norm. It was my tribe versus your tribe. My tribe kills your tribe, or your tribe kills my tribe. Only here did we have the idea, here are the rules. If you basically obey these rules, you're one of us. Has it been imperfect? Did we exclude people? Yeah, but compared to whom? They don't know. They don't know anything except what they've been taught, and what they've been taught is hatred. And Donald Trump is right about this. And this is why when he makes a speech like this, that the left goes insane, because it's like he's suddenly taking away the power that they know they have, which is the power to set the narrative. This is why they don't let him talk. This is why they shout him down. This is why they won't run his speeches, because he has the power and the ability to reshape the narrative. And the narrative is what they've got. They haven't got the truth. They haven't got an idea of how to govern a city. They haven't got an idea of how to govern a state or a country. They don't know anything about economics. They don't care about the Constitution. The one thing they have is the power to tell lying stories to dunderheaded little girls like that.